Okay, turn 9. Today was a pretty good turn. In Hoberdorf, we charged on in with our Malaya Druzhina and our god against mainly militia. They did have a pretty significant grip of heavy infantry, but it wasn't overall as many units as I was afraid of. So, Rincewind charged into the back. Meanwhile, the Malaya Druzhina charged around and also got into the back. We did take some pretty hefty damage early on, but the Malaya Druzhina managed to drive everybody off pretty effectively. We do have one guy bleeding profusely, but we killed everyone off, and I believe we lost one Malaya to... yeah, we lost this guy to profuse bleeding. Unfortunate. There he goes. So we lost one Malaya Druzhina. Our Odin or Rincewind actually got a bunch of kills. Good on him. And then my 4 Malaya Druzhina also gave pretty good accounts of themselves. So yeah, 43 units, 16 of them were heavy infantry. Unfortunate there, but we took the place pretty effectively. So we've got Hoberdorf. I want to get the money in it to start a fort, but it's going to have to wait a little bit. Rincewind is searching this turn, and we're moving down Yakim with a bunch more Malaya Druzhina to pick up this guy. We only have 10 resources in this province, so unfortunately we can't really recruit anything that we might want to recruit, like Black Hoods or Stiagli, or anything. Not that Black Hoods are actually great. I can recruit 1 per turn down here, but I'm not going to because I'm actually going to be recruiting scouts down there. I can recruit some Black Hoods up here in Bogarus, however, which could be useful. Okay, so here's the thing. They're not very... see, here's the thing. Honestly, Black Hoods are kind of crap units. Like, they're archers. They have composite bows, which is fine. So I guess we'll recruit some of them out here just to have them. I really want this province. I really want Caverns of Gold, because I can draw its resources off to a fort in Hoberdorf, and it has a lot of resources. That said, it contains 60 Zots, and Zots are very weak, but they have dark vision. In a cave, my units will be at a pretty significant penalty, and his will not. And here's an example of why being at a penalty in a cave is a bad idea. So this was a battle between a fairly significant expansion party of Utgard, containing a bunch of human Huskarls, a bunch of Jotun Huskarls, and 4 Garm Herdings, against a number of Bakemono Sho. Now, Bakemono Sho actually got buffed in the last patch in the sense that they went from size 2 to size 1, so they can fit 6 in a square. That's a pretty significant buff, to be honest, because it means their attack density is actually quite high, and their attacks are of pretty decent quality. Attack 11, length 4 Yaris, and 15 piercing damage, so they punch through armor very, very effectively. Yari actually have quite high damage. So despite Bakemono Sho being slightly lower than average strength, the Yaris hit harder than average for human weapons. But here's the special thing. Bakemono Sho have 50% dark vision, so they only take a -1 penalty for fighting in caves. Utgard's Giants, on the other hand, take the full -3 penalty, and as a result, their attack and defense skills are garbage. Even Garm Herdings here, their defense skills end up very, very bad. So here's the effect of that. With the long Yaris, the Bakemono Sho are likely to only get 1 attack each on any given round because there's 6 of them in a square, and they can repel. They have attack 11 versus their opponent's darkness nerfed defense skills of 8, 8, or I guess this Prophet, yeah, Prophet counteracts, or 7 in the case of the Garm Herdings. So as a result, Utgard's troops almost never actually hit the Bakemono Sho, while they're taking massive numbers of moderately efficient damage attacks right back. And so the Bakemono Sho absolutely slaughter the armies of Utgard for very few casualties. They lost 6 Bakemono Sho, they killed 23 of Utgard's troops, including all 4 of their fairly expensive Garm Herdings, 14 human Huskarls, and 5 Jotun Huskarls. So, a fantastic showing for the independents, and that was right here. That was right next to Utgard, actually. So yeah, that little mountain. Bakemono Sho, honestly, in darkness, in caves especially, they are fairly dangerous. They're actually impressively dangerous. I hadn't actually noticed that every province has a little 1 black pixel in the middle of it before. Huh, interesting. So, we've gotten our palisade in Spires of Ascension, rather. Now, unfortunately, just the way this works out this turn, because recruitment points here are quite low, it split the resources in an unfortunate way, so I have a bunch of recruitment points that I can't use in Bogarus, and I have some resources that I can't use in Spires of Ascension because my recruitment points are too low. So I'm going to upgrade that fortress as quick as I can. Hopefully that will kind of even things out. And I'm also going to take Kratos, which should push up the resources in Spires of Ascension. That's not necessarily a great thing, because once again I'm going to be recruitment point limited here. But it shouldn't be too bad, and I should be able to, hopefully I'll be able to get some more forts built up in this region as well. So there's Arithia. I'm still hoping that I'll be able to kind of roll up this way and take these provinces. Certainly I want to take Wicker Woods. Hopefully I can also take Emain, which is actually fairly profitable for a swamp. I've gone down to recruiting 4 Malaya Druzhina and 1 Greed Druzhina per turn in Bogarus. Over here I'm recruiting 2 Malaya Druzhina and then 4 Voy Archers. Once again, the limiter here is actually resources, so recruiting Greed Druzhina doesn't really help me. I could only recruit 3 and that would kill my recruitment points. So we'll get some Voy Archers, which are useful against low armored targets like, for example, Lizard Warriors. And also they can shower arrows into melee pretty effectively and without fear, because Malaya Druzhina are highly resistant to arrow fire. They've got the shield with the parry, they've got 18 protection. They're not very worried about being hit by these random ass arrows from my Voy Archers. I have recruited 1 Alchemist. He might actually get a disease in late winter, which would be sort of hilarious and sort of terrible. But until then, he's going to wander around site searching. We're starting to research Conjuration. We've hit Evocation level 2, so we do have Lightning Bolt now online, and we've returned to spamming Astropelagists, which is fine, just in case I need him for an early war. Down here, Rincewind is site searching. Like I said, I want to gather troops to attack this province. I'm a little bit leery of it, but I'm hoping that I can, because I've got 4 Malaya Druzhina there. I've got 6 Malaya Druzhina there, plus 3 Voy Spearmen, and I'm going to pick up a Greed Druzhina. I'm hoping that what I can do is basically assemble them around my commanders and keep them there. And so these guys will charge in, they'll get their initial hits. Malaya Druzhina will still, under Darkness, have defense scores of, like, 12. Actually, it'll be higher than that. It'll be a defense score of 13. Which will, I think, be enough to keep them from taking a whole lot of damage from the Zot's charge. However, what I don't want is, I don't want Rincewind there, because Rincewind could potentially be absolutely McFucked by the Zots. The Zot's charge, he only has Prot 10, so they could rack up damage on him very quickly. So I don't want him going in. That's why Vsislav is staying here. He's actually just going to search for holy sites for no reason. Because we're going to give those guys to him. If Vsislav dies, I don't care. Like, losing him is not a major loss. If Rincewind dies, that's a huge loss. So we're definitely going to try to keep him out of this battle. And I may, in fact, delay the battle for another turn to get another pack of cavalry involved. Now, down here, I don't have the resources to really recruit anything. Like I said, I could recruit 1 light infantry, but I don't know that 1 light infantry would help. Same with 1 crossbowman. So we're just gonna let it be. And I'm hoping that next turn I'll be able to start the palisade down here. My income is actually reasonably okay for turn 9, and the fact that I've been expanding at a steady 1 province per turn is alright. It's fine by me. The other thing that I could do, I could attack this province. Light infantry, crossbowmen I'm worried about, but mainly light infantry and heavy infantry, I could push on down. That would make me neighbors with Patala, who, as I mentioned, are not doing well. Patala only has a few provinces. Could be a lot better for them right now, and they may be a viable early target for a war. But I definitely want to take Caverns of Gold early on. I don't care about Salt Plains and Dunes of Death so much. They're both pretty worthless, shitty provinces. But yeah, we'll kind of see how things develop. We've got some Primani Solari over here on the border from Pythium that I'm a little bit concerned about. But Pythium is also kind of struggling to still fill in its gaps here. And honestly, looking at how things are going for the other players around me, I'm perfectly content with my expansion. Like, I've gotten my cap circle complete, and I've expanded a little bit beyond it. and I've got a fort down all by turn 9. This is like minimally acceptable expansion by a normal game standard. For an Accidental Ascension game, pretty good, to be honest. So, I think that should be all I need. Izyaslav is site searching there. Yakim and Yoropolka moving out. We've got scouts scattering around. Let's move up there to see if Erythia has gone underwater. I think they probably have, but they haven't gone into that province. So I feel like they've probably taken these. At least if I was them, I would have. But we'll see what develops. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 10. Things are going to start getting interesting shortly after Year 0 concludes, because that's the point when we're going to start contemplating going directly to war with somebody. Malaya Druzhina backed up by lightning bolt spam can be a pretty potent force if you can scrape together enough of them, and since nobody seems to be rushing me, I got lucky, to be honest. I got lucky here, because Erythia is not super strong early game. Patala is quite weak early game, actually. Pythium is fairly strong early game, because they have strong infantry, the Primani and the Comitatenses, but their strength diminishes over time, effectively, because their magic is shit. And it looks like they're also maybe having some trouble expanding. And Atlantis, I know, has had at least one bad bump, and is also kind of locked away from me by terrain and intervening nations. So I think I'm actually fairly safe as Bogarus in the early game, which is about as good as you can hope for. So, I'll see y'all in turn 10. Alright, folks, it's turn 10, and this was a really good turn. Well, let me back that up a little bit. It was a good turn and also kind of a shitty turn in some ways. So we found a magic site in Spires of Ascension, the Canyon of Wild Winds, and there was a battle in Kratas. We attacked the Onyx Amazons, and we crushed them. Onyx Amazons honestly aren't that scary for a couple of reasons. First of all, these ladies have 15 encumbrance, which means they start building up fatigue enough to start taking penalties almost immediately, and they're just not super impressive. And then the Amazon infantry, they're actually comparable to my infantry. They actually have more protection and better skills, generally speaking, than Peshtsi spearmen. So they may well be worth recruiting for me, but for most nations, they're not very impressive. Which is just sort of a sad commentary on Bogarus's infantry, actually. But as you can see here, the Malaya Druzhina charge in, more or less just wreck them with no problem. And we wipe out their leadership as well. So, 0 casualties. We do have now Onyx Sorceresses, so Death and Earth Crosspath mages, which was nice, because previously, the only Death we had was Occultists, and we didn't have... the only Earth we had was the Alchemists. So, communable, but we didn't have the Crosspath, and we didn't have the potential to get Death level 2, which these guys have. Actually, I guess, do the Staretsi have? The Staretsi don't have Death. They can random Death 1. Okay, so yeah. But then, we also found a magic site in Hobergdorf, and unfortunately, that's a Plaguewater stream. So, the Plaguewater stream, it's a good site in its gem income, but it also spreads diseases, like Inkpot End or something. So, as a result, I actually can't build a fort here. Like, building a fort here would be a terrible plan, because I would just lose all my troops and mages to diseases. As you can see, even in the couple turns we've been here, one of my Malaya Druzhina has contracted a disease and then a chest wound, so he's already going to die, pretty much. And I just got to get my troops out of this province in order to prevent them from also dying. Especially Rincewind. I desperately need Rincewind to not get a disease. I'm so happy that he didn't. So, we're all charging into Caverns of Gold. And what we're going to do here is, these guys are actually going to guard Commander around Rincewind. So as to try to prevent him from getting... everyone's going to pile up around Rincewind to try and prevent him from getting jumped on. And we'll have everybody all in that same pile. So, my goal here is, we're going to be holding for 2 turns. In those 2 turns, I think the Bat people should launch and then come down on top of me. They're going to get to attack me, but they're then going to be hit by the Malaya Druzhina. I think 11 Malaya Druzhina plus Rincewind and Yakim can beat up a lot of Zots, as long as we can survive the initial charge. So that will be the goal there. Over here, still pumping out Astropelagists and Malaya Druzhina, also recruiting Malaya Druzhina and Archers out of Spires of Ascension. Our fortress will be upgraded next turn, and we're building a lab, so we'll be able to start recruiting mages there as well, which will require a cut down on troops, but that's fine. We're searching Simeon and Yoropolk, are site searching here, and they're going to move around, site searching my other provinces. Beyond that, this army, which is pretty substantial. This is a fairly significant expansion force at this point, and they're just moving up. They're going to take Wicker Woods, and then we'll see. They may actually try to take that, depending, because that looks like it's a level 1 throne, and I don't think it will really have anything to stop me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak this guy up here, and then I'm going to bounce him off this throne next turn to see what's in it. And we'll also decide whether we want to attack Emain. Depending on how many Lizard Warriors they have, attacking Emain might be a really good idea. So Pafnudi, who is a blood random, we're going to send him in, and we're just going to have him retreat. So he should be okay, statistically speaking. But he might die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, if necessary. I mean, they're 70 gold, I can recruit another one. So, that's the turn. In terms of research, we've hit Conjuration level 1. We're going to hit Conjuration level 2 next turn, and then level 3 just a couple turns after that. Level 3 will let me summon Firebirds, which will be pretty sweet. I will immediately begin summoning Firebirds. I'm going to need to recruit another Alchemist for that reason, but I'm 10 gold short this turn, so it'll be next turn. I'll set the recruitment of another Alchemist. He'll be done just in time, and he'll start just burning up my Fire Gems, recruiting Firebirds. A few Firebirds won't have much of a visible distinction, but once I get a little bit later in the game and I have like 50 Firebirds, then we'll start seeing some differences. So, that's the turn. I'm in a pretty good place throne-wise, to be honest, looking at the map here, because I've got a throne there that I have access to, I have a throne here I have access to, and I have a throne here I have access to. Now that is a sorceress throne, so gonna have to be careful of that. But yeah, overall, pretty happy. My air gem income has gone up. I have a little bit of death and water income now, albeit from this plague water stream in a shitty place. Like, I really don't want there to be a plague water stream here in Hoburgdorf, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Fuck you, Hoburgdorf. I am gonna want to set up a second fort one of these days. This actually wouldn't be a terrible place for a fort. A little bit low on resources once again. But it's a large province with a lot of income and a lot of recruitment points. This wouldn't be an absolutely awful place for a fort. I wouldn't really be able to recruit many cavalry out of it, but I will be able to get a reasonable number of Peshtsi or Voi. Peshtsi City Guard, I might churn out some Peshtsi City Guard there, I guess. But, I mean, just placing forts to recruit mages out of is generally a good idea. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 11. Alright, folks, it's turn 11 of Accidental Ascension 5. We've hit Conjuration level 2. Great. Didn't find any magic sites, unfortunately, but there were a total of 3 battles. Now, this was just a scouting. I was just bouncing my Skopets off of Emain to see how many enemy lizards there were. There's a fair grip of lizards, but, however, it is very cold, and they are cold-blooded, so their encumbrance is incredible. They have 16 encumbrance, which makes them actually a lot less dangerous. They're still dangerous, and they'll still kill units, but less so. So they've got their 2 shamans back here. We ran away, that's fine. However, 2 other battles. First, in Caverns of Gold, we have our cavalry clustered here around our god, Rincewind, the Allfather. As you can see, their attack skill and defense skill are both lowered significantly, but they still have high prot and decent skills in all regards. We do also have Sislav the Skopets and Yakim the Knyaz. Over on this side, all the Batmen are lifting off, coming to attack us, and they land. But as you can see, their attacks don't really do anything to the Malaya Druzhina. They also didn't hit Yakim because they're awful. They're just really bad. 0 prot. They do have attack skill 10 and decent damage, but not enough to get past the defense there. I think I lost 2 hit points off of Rincewind, if I'm correct. No, he didn't take any damage. And the Knyaz was attacked by 2 people, but missed both times. My Skopets was instantly fucking killed by a single blow of an Obsidian Club sword. My Malaya Druzhina were hit several times, usually, but didn't actually take much damage because of their high prot. And then they start to strike back, and Zots are just so pathetically weak that they get absolutely murdered. And then that leaves just the Kamazots back here, who is trying to summon skeletons, but it's too little too late. The zombie warriors, the soulless warriors that he summoned, are absolute garbage. because, hey, hilariously enough, soulless warriors actually cannot see in darkness. So, zombies accomplish almost nothing, get massacred, araskuta. In Wicker Woods, meanwhile, my troops charged in. We have another pack of Malaya Druzhina, and then one lone Peshti spearman up front as a distraction. So the Malaya Druzhina take a hit from a crossbow bolt there, and then they charge in, massacre the heavy cavalry, massacre the militia and light cavalry, and then massacre the crossbows. And that is that. No casualties there either. So fantastic. Here I lost my Skulpets and one Voice Spearman, and that's also great. Excellent double expansion. Now, we're left with a bit of a quandary. Both of these provinces are full of barbarians, and provinces full of barbarians are typically pretty dangerous to attack. Up here, this army is going over here to take out these lizard warriors. Lizard warriors are actually just as dangerous as barbarians typically, but I've got 14 Malaya Druzhina, and it's worth having that province in my estimation. Now, I may have to fight this army instead. He's got Theophorites and Pale Ones primarily. If we look at what those units are, Theophorites are his basic infantry, and they're not very good. These are the equivalent of light infantry. They do have javelins, but javelins don't do a whole lot of damage to Malaya Druzhina. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of others. I mean, it's, as I said, it's mainly Theophorites and then Pale Ones, which I think are, if we look at mercenaries. Actually, I guess there aren't any Pale One mercenaries here, so I guess he must have just recruited those from somewhere. But I don't think those Theophorites, and he's recruiting a lot of Theophorites, I don't think Theophorites are actually a counter to Malaya Druzhina to any real degree. I mean, Prot 18, Defense Skill 17, yeah, they do piercing damage. So they'd effectively, but the Bronze Spears would effectively be 13 versus, like, Prot 15. So they can do damage to my Malaya Druzhina, but not a whole lot. In some ways, in many ways, I'm actually hoping that these guys attack down here and bump with me. Like, that would be nice. And these guys, Theophorites can do decent work against Lizard Warriors, because Lizard Warriors have low prot. If we look at my message here in main, if we view that battle, see, they have prot 3. So, Theophorites, you know, light infantry with javelins, are actually perfect for fighting Lizard Warriors, because they'll go in, the Lizard Warriors have huge encumbrance because of the cold. The Theophorites will throw their javelins, inflict casualties, cause damage. The Lizard Warriors will fight for a couple rounds and be taking massive penalties from fatigue. And the enemy, the Theophorites, will cut them up. So, they're great for taking this province. They're really, really bad for fighting my heavy cavalry, which is amazing. So, I'm moving Pozvitz here with 9 cavalry. He's moving over to Spires of Ascension, where I finished my fortress. I'm recruiting a couple more Malaya Druzhina, and then some Peshtsi City Guard. I could recruit a Greed Druzhina or so. But my main limiter now is actually recruitment points. So, it's more effective to recruit. It's either going to be Voice Spearman or Peshtsi City Guard. I think the Peshtsi City Guard are a better bet. They have better morale, so they'll stick around a little bit longer. So we'll get 3 of those, and then also a Voice Spearman just for laughs. That force will then try and go and conquer Letia. I think Letia shouldn't have... We're probably going to have comparable amounts of heavy cavalry to Malaya Druzhina. Malaya Druzhina are better, so they should be able to win that fight. We're going to ignore these barbs for now. And, yeah. Now, down here, we do have Caverns of Gold, where we could, once again, build a fortress. It would have even fewer recruitment points than this place would, is the thing. So it would really be Voy only. Because this place can already not quite recruit 3 Malaya Druzhina. It's actually 2 recruitment points low for recruiting 3 Malaya Druzhina, because 3 Malaya Druzhina would be... Actually, no, I guess 3 Malaya Druzhina would be, yeah, 138. So, yeah, it needs 2 more recruitment points to recruit that 3rd one. God damn it. Alas. Actually, you know what? I might cancel those guys out just to get a 3rd going, because I think this should roll over and allow me to recruit 3 next turn. But yeah, so this army down here, I've got all my troops on Rincewind. I've got 11 Druzhina, 1 is a Greed, so 10 Malaya Druzhina, and then 1 Voice Spearman. This army probably can clear out these barbarians here in Salt Plains, but it's a wasteland, so it's likely to not be all that valuable. And I don't know. I don't know that it's worth losing troops taking it right now. So instead, I'm thinking of moving Rincewind up this way in order to try and push in this direction. Because this direction has a lot of unclaimed neutrals right here. And I think I can take Lydia. I think I can take Annika. I'm actually, I think, going to sacrifice one of these scouts by having him attack. And he'll just die, I believe. Well, actually, no, because he has mountain survival. So yeah, I don't think it's too cold. So I think what I'll do is I'll just set him to sneak and attack and retreat, just to see what else they have there. If that's just a basic bitch level 1 throne with militia, light cav, and then some heavy cav, then I'll actually just roll in and take it and secure myself an empire that will kind of look, you know, kind of lozenge-shaped. And that'll be fine. And after that, I'll probably go after Erythia. Because I'll have all my troops right up here. Ulm's right there, but I'll be able to, you know, come around the flank, push up from this direction, and just throw heavy cavalry at him in an effort to kill him critically, before year 1 is up. Before we hit, like, turn 24. And I may even, in pursuit of that, I may even send my Astropelagist, because my air income is actually pretty decent. I'm about to hit Conjuration level 3, which will enable me to summon lesser air elementals, and I already have Lightning Bolt. So, a war against Erythia starting in 3 or 4 turns, probably practical. Probably something that I could do. And just roll in and try and take their territory and lock them up in their fortress. Now, I can't get underwater after them, so they would have underwater territories. But I don't think that's a big deal, to be honest. I'm not too worried about that. Especially if I can take Erythia itself. Erythia itself has pretty decent gem income. The Red River gives fire and water, and then more fire and astral. So 2 extra fire gems, a pearl, and a water gem every turn. That would be a nice little bonus. May well end up doing that. Probably not as easy as conquering Patala, but then Patala kind of has the threat of using Mind Burn, which bypasses most physical durabilities, to attack my Malaya Drugina, which have magic resistance 10. Erythia can do that, but they're not quite as good at it. So I think I'm probably going to be going north into Erythia. I'll make peace with Patala, make friendly contact there. I've had relatively friendly contact with Atlantis, albeit with no agreements. I have the non-aggression pact there, and we'll still have to kind of see what Pythium is doing. But in any case, thanks for watching. I think we're in a pretty good place. I'm going to leave Yakim down here so that I can potentially get a fort going somewhere. I don't really want to build another fort next to Bogarus, but I certainly will here in Ard if necessary. Ard could pull, well, Ard wouldn't end up with a whole lot of resources, unfortunately. I may end up building a fort in Caverns of Gold, because the one thing the Void do have going for them is their recruitment point cost is very low. Or I could even be recruiting, you know, Peshtsi, which are not great units, but they are units. And Peshtsi City Guard for that castle defense bonus, not the worst. Not the worst thing you can have. Their upkeep cost also isn't exorbitant. So I'll have Yakim hover down around here, and Pozvidst and my other commanders will deal with my fighting leadership. Can I also just say I'm super impressed with Kapsierko. This guy is a monster. With that heroic battle prowess, he's up to 20 attack skill, 23 defense, 20 combat speed, which of course is normal. He's inspirational, has a ton of leadership, so he gives +3 morale to everyone he's leading, and he can lead just a ton of troops. This guy is absolutely incredible. For like a human cavalry commander, he's very solid. I'm absolutely going to thug Kapsierko. I hope he doesn't die. In any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 12, the end of the year. We'll see how it's gone. Alright, folks, turn 12, a good time to take stock of where we are. And where we are is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 provinces right now. And you know what? We did have battles in Emain. Now, unfortunately, this happened in the wrong order. I was hoping that they would attack the province first, and then I would get to clean them up. Unfortunately, we attacked the province first. So that was unfortunate for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was unfortunate because we took a casualty, but second, and more importantly, it was unfortunate because Kapsierko the Bogatyr got cursed, which increases his chance of getting permanent afflictions. That's very unfortunate. However, fortunately, because he is a hero, he is lucky, so he automatically has that 75% chance to survive the killing blow thing, as he is a hero in with the Worthy Heroes mod on. So we took Imain, we lost one Malaya Druzhina, and then our Peshti Spearmen pretty easily. Then we fought, we bumped with Arithia in Imain. And like I said, I was kind of hoping he would do this, because I anticipated this would more or less work out. We had some Arithian Phalangites, a whole bunch of Therophorites, and like one Hoplite. They did have a King of Both Worlds leading the armies. This is their king, their one king. His random paths are not terrible. They're not great, but they're not terrible. In particular, his random paths allow him to cast one specific spell, which we will see here. So, we charge forward to contact with the infantry, and their god, their king of both worlds there, casts Sulfur Haze. So Sulfur Haze randomly deals fire or poison damage, and it actually does a lot of damage to my Malaya Druzhina. It's quite effective. They don't have a good defense against it. It ignores protection. It ignores defense skill. So it kind of goes through all of the things that make good troops good pretty easily. So my Malaya Druzhina just massacre the Theophorites with no trouble, but a number of them do die to poison, and then a few of them get injured. This guy is actually enraged, which is sort of hilarious, and take a lot of damage. Capcirco over here is reduced to 8 hit points, but soldiers on bravely. He's up to 35 kills in melee now. His attack skill is down to 19 because he is in a swamp. But we rout the enemy infantry, just absolutely slaughtered them. Unfortunately, the King of Both Worlds does get away. So we took a lot of casualties in that battle. My 13 Malaya Druzhina are reduced to 5. We killed 47 out of the 80 enemy units. He does still have his King of Both Worlds, and he still has about 30-some-odd Theophorites, however. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And they're scattered between these two provinces. So, right now, Capcirco is a little bit vulnerable, shall we say. Now, I've got 8 resources. This Gridrugina, 28, so 36 there, and a bunch more recruitment points. I am actually going to start churning out some more Void Archers. I feel like against Arithia, they're actually going to be more useful. Arithia's Theophorites especially, they do have shields, but they have relatively light armor, so arrows can be reasonably effective against them. Down here, I'm just recruiting some basic heavy infantry, as well as a couple of Malaya Druzhina, and Rincewind is going to move up 2 Spires of Ascension. I'm planning to build another fort in Kratos here, because Kratos is actually a really good province for a fort. First of all, it gives me Onyx Sorceresses. Secondly, it has good resources and recruitment points. And thirdly, it's well placed. We've got this forest right here, Wicker Woods. We've got Ledia right over there. Overall, it's a good place. Also, we bounced off Anicia. We bounced a scout off Anicia. And they have nothing but units there. They have no mages, no hidden things, nothing. So we're going to move our troops up here, and this army is going to take Anicia. On turn 13, we'll launch that attack. And that will open up another line of attack against Arithia. Now, reinforcing Capcirco is going to be important. Right now, what we're just going to do is we're just going to pump a bunch of province defense into this province. Lizard Warriors are pretty good chaff, and should enable me to wreck these Theophorites if they try to attack me again. Now, the question here becomes, do I want to advance? Because I could advance with Capcirco. If we look here, Capcirco, some of his Bogateers are extremely damaged. Like this Malaya Druzhina, sorry, is actually effectively useless. This guy is weakened, so he's still fine. This guy has a never healing wound, he's still okay. Capcirco doesn't have any injuries. But, he's not in the best of shape. I feel like standing here to defend for one turn is probably a good idea, and then we're going to start rolling troops northward as we recruit them. I don't have a commander in Bogarus right now. I'm going to start recruiting independent commanders over here. They will also pick up these black hoods that I've got there. I've actually got Pafanuti, so Pafanuti is actually going to pick up these guys. He'll go up here. There's another, I think there's a couple black hoods here. There's 2 black hoods there. We'll pick up one more black hood. Yeah, so Pafanuti will pick up those guys. Actually, no, that will slow him down. He's just going to go right up there. Which has no resources, so that's fine. So we're not going to bother recruiting a Black Hood there. Pafanuti is just going to move right up there with those troops, and then these guys will go to one of my random mages, who will carry them northwards. Now, I am going to hit Conjuration level 3 next turn, which is great. I am going to have 1 Alchemist available to be recruiting those commanders. Rincewind is, as I said, going to pick up. He's got 11 cavalry right now. He's going to pick up 2 more. While Pozvitz is going to move up here, take Anicia, and then he's going to try to roll up this way through Arithia's territory, because Arithia has gone hard in these light infantry. And the light infantry are really, really bad at countering my heavy cavalry. So I'm going to push that advantage as much as I can. We can definitely hold a main. I'm going to pump the province defense actually up to 16 here. Even if all these troops combined against me, I think we would definitely hold it, because the lizard warriors backed up by the cavalry would wipe them out pretty effectively. And, of course, if he waits a turn, then I'm going to have these black hoods and these cavalry, those 5, available, which will definitely help, because that will, like, effectively double the force that's there. And then Pozvitz will be rolling up here in 2 turns, and in 2 turns, Rincewind. I could actually send Rincewind up there, like, now, because he has map move 26. I'm going to move him up to Spires of Ascension at least, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I would like to get a commander of some kind somewhere. That's a barbarian chief. I should be recruiting scouts there, definitely. I've got Yakim down here. Yakim was going to be building a fort on this side, but we're going to abandon that for now. We're going to have Yakim move north so he can pick up some more troops. And we'll hop Rincewind up to a main just to make sure we can hold it, while Pozvitz's troops are going around this way. So, that's the plan, and I think it'll work out pretty well. I think we're going to be able to actually, like, rush Erythia off the land by turn, like, 24, 26, something like that. I don't know. It's always hard to tell how long that will take, but hopefully it won't take very long at all. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 13.